Hello boys and girls, shall we get straight into it? I feel we need the titles and we got them already. Let's give it a go. This is going to be a hard one.
We'd like to say that in our opinion it is not suitable for children or for those of you who may have a nervous disposition.
Hello, you bunch of snivelling degenerate, poovy, faggot-ridden, LSD-soaked, unwashed, filth-ridden, smelly-breathed, knobbly-kneed, half-baked, half-witted, stupid, effeminate, moronic, bog-brain loonies!
Good morning, good morning. It's great to stay up late. Good morning to you.
Right, see that photograph right there? I took that in 2011 of Lowestoft. Now, I think we should have some tunes. It's come and wait for it. You know the score by now. I can't hear nothing.
I'm fixing a hole where the rain gets in and stops my mind from wandering where it will go.
You're getting what I'm doing, eh?
I'm feeling the cracks that run.
Yeah, that's the government. Now, why have I played that? Well, you get the reference, eh? Yeah, my record player's broken. So I got the original there from... So I got the original. So I took that photo. We're doing a little recap. Don't disappear. So I did this. I took this photograph actually in Kessingland car boot sale in, as you can see, 2011. Only discovered the other day. Look at that. They've been conning us forever, eh? So that now leads me on to just recapping last week. I need my glasses now. Yeah, I wear glasses, $10 from the supermarket. So I'm just going to recap on deforestation. So I've still got some more notes on that. So we already determined, did we not, that this has been going on over 100 years, this deforestation, but also this climate change. So it says here, deforestation accounts for 10 to 15% of global house gas emissions. Rainforests are blah, 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 50% of the world's oh God, even the species, it just goes on, affects food security, medicine development, because medicine development, as you know, comes from a lot of these places. You kill something and then you could have made something from it. Forests play a crucial role of maintaining rainfall patterns. We just had that thing, is it in Texas somewhere? You know, it affects rainfall patterns. I did this last week and it happened the other day. All them poor kids and that, eh? Their removal leads to a drier climate and unpredictable weather. And it's back to, why aren't they fucking planting trees? The list goes on and on and on and on. Trees absorb CO2, we know that. The loss means billions of tons of CO2 remain in the atmosphere, intensifying global warming. So fuck the cars. It doesn't mention anything there. Fuck the cars. Fuck bloody all this other shit that's going on and saying you've got to pay for it. Just plant some trees. We're doing it in New Zealand. We have sustainable forests now, which they're planting. So every 50 or whatever it is, 100 years, they then cut some down. But as they cut some down, a bit like the Walton family. Remember the Waltons? They relied on forestry, didn't they? But they said, and I remember Mr. Grandpa saying, if for every tree you cut down, you need to replant 3. There you go. And this was in the 1970s, wasn't it? So we're also going to do today fish and chips. Because I saw on Facebook the other day when chips were like 20p and there's another one 25p for fish. And now it's like £10 for a basic fish and chips for one person. So family of 4, don't take a lot, eh? Fucking family of 4. So we're going to go into the first advert. It's not an advert. It's basically something I put together about us Brits, and I keep saying that, and white people should apologise for being white. So have a quick look at this. I do the research and only use someone else rather than you just hearing me. Have a listen. It'll come on, just wait a minute. Bloody hell, hold your horses. I think I pressed the button. Yeah, I did press the button. It's there, look. So this
But
is
Muslim slave traders took more people from Africa.
The Arabs targeting Africa took out about 17 million people.
The British and then the Americans were the rare people who moved to abolish slavery.
So yeah, the British Navy, in a story almost no one now knows, sank something like 1,600 slave ships. It freed 150,000 people that were enslaved at the time.
Because the Brits objected for moral reasons.
Yeah, they'd had enough of it.
Saudi Arabia only abolished the slave trade relatively recently.
Well,
but Muslim slave traders took more people from Africa.
The Arabs targeting Africa took out about 17 million people.
The British and then the Americans were the rare people who moved to abolish slavery.
So yeah, the British Navy, in a story almost no one now knows, sank something like 1,600 slave ships. It freed 150,000 people that were enslaved at the time.
Because the Brits objected for moral reasons.
Yeah, they'd had enough of it.
Saudi Arabia only abolished the slave trade
So there you go.
relatively recently.
So, ooh, we're getting to him. So, stuff at you. White people were one first ones to try and abolish slave labour. Muslims and Arabs just couldn't give a shit, could they? So now, why John Craven's news round? Because we're just going to recap on chemtrails. But this is in the 1970s with dear old John Craven, as you and I all grew up with. They didn't make this shit up. This is on a kids show.
A massive new experiment to make it rain. Hello again, it's nice to be back with you after our day off yesterday because of the budget. And tonight we begin with news about rain. The biggest experiment ever to make it rain when we want it to is now, soon to begin rather, in central Spain. It's just one part of a huge plan by the United Nations to study the weather on Earth more accurately than ever before. And for the next 5 years, they've chosen 10,000 square kilometers in Spain as the stage for their new project. It's the ideal country, they say, partly because it doesn't usually rain there a great deal, and partly because scientists have already been recording weather changes there for some time. Now, experts from almost every country in the world will get together to try and make it rain. Although this has been tried before, it's never been done on such a grand scale. What will happen is that planes will be flown up through the clouds, and millions of tiny chemical crystals will be dropped into them. This should make the water droplets in the clouds heavier, and that extra weight should force the clouds to turn into rain.
Much more.
Chemical crystals in the atmosphere that will turn into rain, that will go into the rivers and streams, and then you and I drink it. This is in the 70s. Honestly, you can't make it up. Just follow the research, follow the trail. You'll always see it in the end. So why am I playing this lady? Because we're going to go on, just briefly before I go on to my main topic, immigrants. Now, why are they letting in so many immigrants? I've been thinking about this because it's a massive thing, and people like Nigel Farage and people like that in a Reform Party, not just Reform anyway, but they've been saying, hey, they're racist because they won't allow all these illegal immigrants to come into the country. Why shouldn't we have all these people coming into the country? It helps our lives to improve. We did a Muslim piece, didn't we, last year, and I thought I was going to be calling out and out racist, but I wasn't, and people agreed that basically what do Muslims bring to the British culture? They just bring their culture, nothing else, their culture, and their culture's not a very good culture, is it? So we're just going to play. This is from a prominent Labour leader, MP. Honestly, you can't make this shit up.
So 20,000 is not enough. 30,000 is not enough. We must keep going until we really are at saturation point, because what does it matter if we have to wait another week for a hospital visit, or if our class sizes are slightly bigger, or if our city is slightly fuller? What does it matter if things are slightly more challenging, if we have to pay a little bit more into the system? Surely it is worth it to see those lives being restored again.
So, who gives a shit if your hospital visit takes longer, or the schools have got more people in them, and it's bringing their culture and their ideology and Islam to their classroom. Who cares? Who pays for it? They fucking don't. That's the people who already live there. So we're going to just try and nearly finish on Katie Hopkins. Love or hate her, I love the girl. I think she's really outspoken about this, and we've spoken about her before. But let's just have a listen to what she said a few years ago.
If Islam is so fantastic, why do Muslims always flee to Christian country? Why not go to Saudi or another Muslim country?
Well, because Saudi Arabia actively prevents their Muslim neighbors from going there.
Why does Saudi prevent migrants going there?
Look, I'm not an ambassador for the Saudi government.
Isn't it because Christian lands are free and tolerant and open? And isn't that the very thing that Muslims try and change when they arrive in our country? Why not go to Saudi? Why not go to another country where
because when you
the
have
Muslim
a kid,
faith is practiced?
Kate,
Tell me.
When you have a kid on your hands, you try to find any refuge. Literally, you would go across the Mediterranean even if you don't know how to swim. You would do anything possible for your 2-year-old.
Oh, we don't see any women and children on the boats across the Med.
We do see, but even though...
What do you reckon? Right or wrong? Leave a comment. I think she's right, and it is right, isn't it? You know, they're saying within 35 years, white people are going to be a minority in the UK, and within 25 years, you'll have your first Muslim Prime Minister. 25 years ago, when we left the UK, I said we will have a mayor of London that's going to be a Muslim. People go, don't be so fucking daft. Now, in the UK, in London, 38% of people are white in London. What's wrong with preserving white culture, our culture? I already discussed in previous programs, did I not, that only 16.5% worldwide are white people. Who's the minority? That we keep saying we're the majority, we're not. It's a fucking fool's game if you believe that. Now, I'm now going to go on to your heating. So should we play a little advert? It's a bit long-winded, but just bear in mind, you used to pay for all.
No other form of energy brings us so much enjoyment or takes greater care to ensure a constant and safe supply across the nation. No other form of energy can bring such huge resources into operation at the touch of a button. Electricity, energy for life.
Not had enough? You used to pay for all that, and then the British Gas, you paid for that as well. I paid for it. My forefathers, all of them, paid interest system. Look, you paid for this. Then I'll explain why I'm playing it. What are you doing? I'm going to get another beer because I bloody need one. Oh, that was long-winded. Bugger. You know what I've done? You can't make this shit up. I've gone and spilt beer all over my hair and it's now blown the lights. Oh shit. I told you can't make this shit up. Pull that out. I've lost power. Shall we crack on anyway? You can't make this shit up. I've lost everything. No. That's tripped upstairs. Shall we go upstairs and put it all back on? Oh, won't let me. Done something. Back in a minute. I'm back. I had an energy crisis. I spilled it on the heater and that foozed everything. So we're back up and running. Energy, heating. Come on, fire up. You can see I don't rehearse this shit, eh? So basically, I'm out of breath. It's the beer, dear. Let's get going. Bear with me. I'm not even going to cut it. I'm just going to let it run. So basically, why is heating 4 times more expensive in the UK? Hang on. Oh, windy pops. Beer, running around. Why is it 4 times more expensive than in the EU? I have charts. I figured basically because Germany, France and all the other big ones are a lot cheaper than the UK, right? But Ed Miliband, remember him? Ed Miliband has come out and said we need to be independent from the rest of Europe and the world for our energy. So he's spending $66 billion, I know, pounds of your money on solar panels, while they're also spending a lot of money actually dimming the sun, which we also know they've come out and said they're going to do. He was part of the last administration that actually sold off the last one of your energy companies. And that energy was British Energy in 2009 under Labour, which he was one of the MPs. So the same fucking arsehole that says we need to be independent from the rest of the world for our energy was part of the problem in 2009. So this now goes back to, you're not going to believe this, the main energy companies that are sold off. British Gas went in 1986 under Conservatives. Then we had the CEGB, National Power, blah, 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 went in 90 under Conservatives. Scottish Power Hydroelectric was sold to by the Conservatives. British Energy Nuclear. That one got me. I just can't understand how the British government would sell the nuclear energy to the French. So the French own your energy. One of the other big players that own your energy in Great Britain are Germany. The last one, is, of course, to be sold was under Labour, which was British Energy. Now, they came into power and they had an option to stop British Energy Nuclear being sold off. And they decided not to. And of course, under Tony Blair, they sold off that. So they could have stopped 2 of them. They could have stopped British Energy Nuclear and they could have stopped British Energy EDF. Do you really think they're working for you anymore? Or do you think it's a big con? So I had a look into it. So bear with me, because I'm trying to find, I didn't do too much in the way of notes on who owns what. So let's just have a quick look. Scottish Energy was, I'm not even, do you know, it's all here in my notes. You know, do your own fucking research. Oh, that bloody bitch again, look. Do your own research. I'm actually getting wound up over this. So now foreign investors own every aspect of British Energy, and you pay 4 times more than anyone in the EU. This is nothing to do with Ed Miliband saying this is market forces, because the market forces in Europe are 4 times less than they fucking are in the UK. You're being ripped off, you're being fucking ripped off, you're being ripped off. And then all of the profit is going out of the country, mainly to France and Germany. Now, I saw this coming in the late 80s. So in the late 80s, down my local pub, there was this guy, he drove the lorry for the bins locally. And this was under this privatisation thing that Maggie Thatcher was driven, that we all knew was wrong. And he said, I've now got to reapply for my job. I went, what do you mean you've got to reapply for your job? He said, because it's just been bought by a French company. This is in Lowestoft. And I still remember it to this day. He said, I will be re-employed on 1/3 less money and your bins will be empty by a French company and all the profit goes back to France. I went, rubbish. He went, nope. Next week, Onyx will be all over the stuff. Now, let's bear that in mind. We, as a nation, and I include me in that, back then, we paid for all of that. What the fuck did we get in return when they sold it all? Rise in prices. That's all we got under Maggie Thatcher. Rise in prices. Yes, she said you shouldn't... What did she say? A nation shouldn't be dependent on the state. We fucking own the state. What the fucking mother and fuck? We own what we pay into, and she said we shouldn't rely on it. So she sold it all. What the... You get where I'm coming from? And now you've got this energy crisis because of it. You honestly can't make this shit up. Do your research. I've done mine. I've done a lot of it. It's absolutely unbelievable. So they say if you have a nuclear energy... What is that? I can't... I've lost the plot. If you have... what is that? So it says here, oh, I'm not even, I'll confuse you and then I'll confuse me as well. So I'm just trying to find who actually owns what, and I can't find it, but it does give a breakdown somewhere. So British Energy Nuclear created 1996 privatisation energy company, blah, blah, blah. No, so Labour, there you go, look, the Labour. Under Tony Blair and Gordon Brown, they did the final energy company. You've got Labour in power right now saying you need to be independent, but the same people that were in charge that are still in office are now saying we need to be independent after they Look, you're being conned, you're being conned, you're being conned. This two-party system does not work. Now, does reform work? I have no fucking idea, because all I'm seeing at the moment, you see, you know when you have all the little piggies and they've all got their noses in the trough, and then there's someone else, another little piggy wants to get their nose in the trough, and then another one gets pushed out. All I'm seeing right now is a new party that wants their nose in your fucking trough. Will they do any good? I don't know. I see a lot of hope at the moment, but I don't actually see anything. There's the energy again before we switched off. That's fucked my heater up, eh? Now, I think there needs to be a change. There needs to be a change. So I'm going to move on to finish because I've fucked everything up. So, the national debt. What do you think your national debt is in the UK? Go on, have a think. I'll let you have a think while I have a beer. I know what it is without even looking at my notes. I couldn't believe it. £3 trillion. That's what you owe. So you owe each household, each person, sorry, in the UK, babies, women, children, men, out of work people that come from abroad that never pay into the system, between £42,000 and £48,000. I'll bring you into New Zealand because it's all relevant, isn't it? New Zealand, we owe $500 billion to in-house investors overseas, not investors, to banks and overseas. One's called the Crown debt and the other's called overseas debt. So a total of $500 billion. There's 5 million of us. America is trillions. It's out of control. But you look at the UK, £3 trillion and it's still growing, right? So, and it says there's a difference between external debt. I'm not very good this week, eh? External debt. Who owes money to who? And the banks. And then at the bottom here gives you a breakdown. And this is the Kiwi one. Each person here owes over $100,000. Why am I mentioning this on top of that? They just spend our money willy-nilly. It's our money. It's not their money. They're caretakers, but they think they own our money. And when they fuck up, look at Jacinda, how she fucked up. We now got an inquiry into the COVID, what went right and what went wrong, and the people died, old people's homes and everything else. A bit similar to what you had there. Jacinda has decided not to take part in it because she's too busy. But her fucking bitch is in this country right now spreading her lieish book. Her book is a bed of fucking lies. And she's here promoting her book. But she refuses to go to an inquiry that she actually caused a massive countdown. Not just once, twice, 3, 4 times. And the last time, Auckland ended up in a countdown because someone got a cold for 100 days. And I was caught in that, 100 days. You wouldn't believe, you had to have lived through it and heard the stories to actually, and she refuses to go to it. We're still paying her as a former Prime Minister. So she's a former Prime Minister and we're still paying her money every fucking month. Surely she has to be accountable because she's still being paid by the Crown and we own it. Nope, she's decided she's going to promote her book and then fuck back off abroad. Can't make it up. So I thought I'd finish on something a little bit light. The good old British fish and chip shop. I love that little tin sign. I only had 2 beers. Don't judge, don't judge. Now, why am I mentioning that? Because as I said at the beginning, I saw a little article on the Great British Fish and Chips in the mid-1970s, how much it cost. Basically, it wasn't a small luxury, was it? Because it was cheap. And it was our newspaper. Oh, shall we do, I don't know if I got it ready yet. Let's have a look.
Breaking news here in Batshit Bonkers Britain, where the Labour government have announced that about £2.50 will be going to people who are struggling with their energy bills. That won't help at all. It's like rearranging the chairs on the Titanic. The truth is that net zero is a scam, just like the COVID scam. And those who were already very wealthy will be making millions, if not billions, off of net zero contracts. So we can talk about some winter fuel payments all we want. The truth of this is that yet again the little people are being scammed by the most powerful, who will make the most profit out of charging us 5 times the amount that we should be paying for our energy.
You get that? Sorry, that was one step down. Oh, look at this advert.
Just around the corner.
First
With
year in
12
office.
months of Keir Starmer just around the corner. It's time for a party.
Good morning.
It's here and bigger than ever.
You're as cold as ice.
Who could forget this? What an absolute classic. This was unforgettable. To celebrate 12 months of Sir Keir Starmer. Now that's what I call a U-turn.
Well, some people are very creative, eh? I used to do stuff like that.
There used to be a fish and chip shop down our road. Not anymore. They've redeveloped it into a multi-storey car park. But Birdseye have come up with these. Cod in batter, steaks, fingers, little chunks they call crispy cod fries, even fish and chips in the same packet. Nice. But they'd taste even better if they sold them in newspaper.
Absolutely, hey. So, the Great Fish and Chips. Why have I even bothered mentioning it? It's down to inflation or taxes, isn't it? We know now that you've got 20% tax on fish and chips that you never used to have. Remember the outcry, and then they did it anyway? So, fish and chips. I've done the research properly, and if you see it says Gmail, it's because I look at it and then I send it to myself so I know where I'll put it. Otherwise, I'll put it in a folder on a computer and then I'll never see it again. Yeah, scatterbrain, eh? And ADHD, as someone picked up on the other week. It interests. Fuck off, cunt, you. It's literally, I've got ADHD. Where'd that come from? So basically, back then, say, round it up, round about 45, 50p for fish and chips for a person, right? Now it's £10. Now, that works out, I did the calculation, you can do it all online, do your own research. That equates to just under £5 today. So £5 for fish and chips today. Yet your average fish and chips, depending where you are, what you have in fish, but depending where you are in the country, which it shouldn't actually matter, is between £9 and £10. So now you're paying twice what you would have done back then with inflation and everything else. And I know the wages come into account and everything. That's if you actually got a fucking job. But you get where I'm coming from? So even our good old fish and chips The government have attacked that as well. So you got 20% on top anyway. 20% of an inflationary price of £5. What's that? Brain's gone now. But it still doesn't equate to that £5 increase, which is actually what it is. Have a little think. Everything that you've ever liked or wanted has now just gone through the roof. Don't you feel, I feel, even in this country, the government has got their hands in your back pocket while they've got your hand. This, right, a pint of this in a pub is tax 50% in New Zealand. 50% tax before you even open the pub. I said about this the other week, didn't I? 50% tax. Why the fuck would you want to open a business like that? I always wanted to open a pub here, a weekend pub. And then I thought, every time I pour a pint, 50% of that goes in tax. Fuck off. What's the bloody well point? So, the Great British Chip, the Great British Fish and Chips, has also been attacked by tax. Don't just call it inflation, because when I was looking at some, oh yeah, but it's inflation over 50 years. But if you do inflation over 50 years on 50p, that works out just under £5 you fucking idiots. I just can't stand them anymore. I can't do it. We were supposed to finish on a little funny muse from a friend of mine. I haven't got it, Lynn. She's an aspiring comedian, bless her. Oh, that's her there on the wall. That's one of my photos of the month. She needs to sharpen it up. So, Lynn.
Mrs. Donovan was walking down O'Connell Street in Dublin when she met up with Father Flaherty. The father said, "Top of the morning to you. Aren't you Mrs. Donovan, and didn't I marry you and your husband 2 years ago?" She replied, "Ah, yeah, you did, Father." The father asked, "And be there any wee little ones yet?" She replied, "No, not yet, Father." The father said, "Well, now I'm going to Rome next week and I'll light a candle for you and your husband." She replied, "Oh, thank you, Father." They then parted ways. Some years later, they met again. The father asked, "Well, now, Mrs. Donovan, how are you these days?" She replied, "Oh, very well, Father." The father asked, "And tell me, have you any wee ones yet?" She replied, "Oh yes, Father. 3 sets of twins and 4 singles, 10 in all." The father said, "That's wonderful. How is your loving husband doing?" She replied, "He's gone to Rome to blow out your fucking candles."
There you go, my budding young comedian. I'll try and get some more of her. You want one from the South African friend as well? Oh, Bennett. I saw him this morning. This was his burnt offerings this morning. My South African friend, Les. Good morning, my South African friend. At
Morning,
6
Gary.
a.m, you better cheer me up. What joke have you got?
This lady walks into a pharmacy and she gets up to the pharmacist and says, "Can I get some arsenic from you?" And he says, "Why you want the arsenic?" She says, "I want to give it to my husband." And he goes, "I'm terribly sorry, I can't give it to you for your husband." And she goes, well, pulls out a photo out of her bag, and it's his wife and her husband having a frolicking time in the bed. And he turns around and he goes, "Oh, you didn't tell me you had a prescription."
So there you go, everybody. I'll just do a quick recap here. I'm still going live. Trees, it's not a hard one, is it? CO2, they suck the carbon, we get oxygen. Is it carbon? No, I'm losing the plot now, because I just know, and I wish the rest of the world would wake up to governments that just take our money and take our money and take our money and fuck up and fuck up. And my secret word I've always said is accountability. There's no accountability. There's no accountability for deforestation. Oh, we'll plant solar panels. You can't make it up, eh? Or other stuff. Energy, we need to be self-sufficient with energy because we're not, and the market forces around the world, well, you fucking well sold all our fucking energy companies, you fucking cunts. Do you know what I mean? And that's what's going on. And we just keep getting mugged off and mugged off and mugged off. People complain about the fish and chips are so expensive, but that's just inflation. That's bollocks. A lot of that is tax, not just tax, that 20% on VAT, but it's tax on the fucking bloody potatoes that the farmers bloody produce, that the governments don't want them to have, and they want you to have highly processed foods instead. It just, the list goes on. Don't have beef fat dripping, that's bad for you, because you're going to end up on statins, and statins are a rise because, why? Alzheimer's is a rise. I'm looking at Pauline Quirk here. I bet she was told to go, when she was fat, to go on a low-fat diet, high-carbohydrate diet, and I put her on statins. Now she's got Alzheimer's. I've done this before again and again. The link starts literally in the ground and in the air, doesn't it? And the governments are fucking it both up, top and bottom. So anyway, you have a good week. What was I going to do next week, Les? It was quite important, wasn't it? I forget. Oh, I'm really getting forgetful. I must be on the statins. No, that's nothing to do with that. I've had 3 beers. I've knocked my electricity out. My son's not happy because his computer crashed. Mine crashed and it's back on and it's only just loading up again now. There was something to do with governments and I can't remember. Let's go have a look, shall we? Come on, let's have a look. It's in my notes somewhere. I know I'm waffling now, but I haven't. Just remember who sold off all of your energy companies, folks. Who sold it all off? Oh, that's what I'm doing next time. Digital ID. Digital ID. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a little snippet now. Why do you think they're bringing all these illegals into the country without sending them back? Have a think. This is my spin on it just now, but we're going to have a more in-depth look at what the general feel is around the country with all of this, not just by the Labour or Conservative narrative. Conservative been a party to this for the last 14 years on top of Labour's 1 year, right? And Labour has accelerated it, if anything else. Windy pops, it's always better out than in, my grandmother always used to tell me. Basically, I look at it this way. They're causing chaos. From chaos like COVID, chaos now with immigration out of control, they will enforce a digital passport. They've already passed the law, so they won't just give you a digital dog collar, because that's all it is, a chip. It's a dog collar, right? Be a good boy. Here, boy. Here, boy. You get me? It's a digital ID. It tracks your whereabouts. It will track your money. And it will cut you off if you don't abide by their communist laws. No, do you like that one, Liz? I'm going to do a piece on it and see what other people think. That's going to be next week. Digital ID. They will enforce it because they say we need to find out where all the illegals are and then we can deport them because they haven't got a passport. But do you think they won't give them a digital passport? Of course they fucking will. Anyway, that's it, folks. You have a good week. I've got to go check them fuses and that poor heater. Have a good one. Ta-da. Don't let them get you down. Yums on the
Night, Ben.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children.
Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
For fuck's sake, leave me alone. I'm trying to have a wank.
Oh, God, blimey.